put time.
Right, so UI meeting for 5/25, 2016, and we shall start. All right. Okay, so is that more important than the?
It'll just take 2 minutes.
Okay.
Just want to make sure that everybody has merged the UI build stuff up into their branches, either from patches or from master. And maybe just real quick, see if there's any bugs that people have run across, or if there's any issues that people kind of were stumped by and they figured out how to get around it. You guys were just
we were just so John and I just ran into an issue. Well, John discovered it on his branch where we had an unmapped I-18N property in one of the old, I think it was settings.I-18N, which is in the old one of the legacy files. And there was an unmapped I-18N property that wasn't being used anywhere in the application, which was causing the build to fail. Because when the front-end build reads those files, it tries to go through and tries to escape all of the single quotes. And since there was nothing mapping to that property, it was failing on that step. And so we were able to fix that, just remove the property, and the next build passed, and we were good to go.
That's great, though.
Yeah, the only thing that does kind of suck though is that error message looks like it's not an error explicitly telling you that you're missing a usage of that I-18N property. It's literally just like a JavaScript error. Cannot read property replace when find. So and there's a little cryptic in that sense. I don't know if there's a way to like also prove that at all.
Did it point to that file though?
It told us which file to look in, but it was still a bit of a, because we're sitting there trying to differentiate between the files on master and the files on this branch, and everything's looking good, and we're trying to figure out what's going on. But I happen to remember from when I was working with you guys on the build process, we ran into that where we had to go through all of the I-18N files and reformat everything and make sure all the quotes matched up and everything. So I was like, just on a hunch, I'm like, check to make sure that property's actually being used somewhere, and sure enough, it wasn't. So.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't explicitly call up that settings I-18N file. I only discovered that through trial and error, just checking out the master version of that file and then seeing which one was actually causing the build to fail.
Okay.
Only through process elimination did I discover that settings I-18N file. This error is saying that it's happening at escape single quotes in front-end build gulp build.js.
Could you post it into the Google chat?
Also, just a note here, moving forward, this issue should be more easily caught because we've basically gotten all of these mysterious unused I-18N strings out of the system. So if you end up introducing a new one, it'd be relatively obvious when it happens, because you'll kind of have written something and then try to build, and the build will bomb out on you.
Were you only? I'm just curious. Were you only getting the issue on feature branch?
It was just on a branch, like a normal branch off of master, and I merged master into it.
It may have been something that was introduced on that branch. Was it something that was added in your?
Is it happening on master? Is master failing?
That's what I was going to say.
Master is totally fine because master didn't have this unused property in the settings file because you guys had removed it. But on my branch, I still had it. So because I had that unused property, it was throwing this error, which I've just posted up there. You can take a look at it.
Oh, okay. So the merge didn't go quite the way we expected then. Okay.
HipChat.
Oh, HipChat. Sorry. Okay. I was like, where is it?
No, I put it in the UI meeting. It's in the first card, high level overview.
Sorry. Okay. Error.
Yeah.
Event. Cannot read property. Build.
Yeah, it doesn't really give us the file.
Yeah, because it's midstream.
I'm wondering if there's a way to just make sure that when our streams error out, or at least this particular one, or a few places, if we can just have some light error handling.
Yeah.
We did find one bug where CSS builds, when they were broken, when there was a bad import or something like that, we're not actually failing the build. And so we didn't see that when we merged it in, so there was a bit of a hiccup because there was a bad fix at one point. That was my fault. But got that fixed now. It'll actually, the update will go into PC12 P4. But the one, if you bump the one front end build version, then you can get that update. It's 1.0.4, I believe, is what we're on right now.
So for this, you happen to know the escape single quote kind of gave it away from where you were, but if you didn't know that.
Yeah, Jake was closely involved, so.
Yeah.
Well, John was able to get there mostly on his own, but then he kind of put our heads together on it when we were able to kind of narrow it down to the specific property.
And it was lucky too, because it was the only I18N file. It was a pretty small bug fix, so it was easy to narrow down which file was the culprit. But on a larger project, I could see that could be problematic.
Are we only running this escape single quote against the ITNs? Yeah.
Yeah, it's part of the properties rip and replace.
So maybe we can make a light tech debt out of this, or a bug, to add some minor logging for it. But
Cool. Any other little snags, surprises?
I was just curious. I looked at the wiki and I didn't find it. What's the I would just like the right way to trigger or start the browser sync server?
Gulp Dev.
Just gulp up will trigger it. Okay.
Yeah. So when you start, we no longer have the library load stuff. We're using browser sync, and so Gulp Dev will actually start a browser sync session, and you'll notice that we still couldn't get HTTPS quite working the way we wanted to. Should probably open the tech debt to revisit that, but essentially you'll get that little shield icon or whatever in the URL bar still that says unsecure content. So you just have to allow that content, and then your browser sync session will be fully good to go. Note that in order to use browser sync, you now have to be running the Minify cookie as false, because in production mode, we're not even allowing access to browser sync. We're not allowing access to NG stats, those types of things. So we're saving a little bit of overhead, obviously, for performance mode. But any remote server or whatnot, you can actually browser sync. Actually, no, I don't know if that's the case, but yeah. So right now, just Gulp Dev, and then make sure you click that shield to allow the insecure content.
Okay.
There's also a note up on the wiki under the front-end developer section for Gulp Dev. There's a note that you have to have your servers up and running prior to executing the command. I'm not sure if that's all that necessary, but just worth the note. It's up there up on. Huh?
You're talking about your local servers? Now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
We'll just go straight down the list, I suppose. So, it's this little guy, Adrian.
I think you're mute.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
There you are.
Yeah, that's something I brought up yesterday in the One UI room. So this is an utility library that is similar to Lodash, but it's for strings, for working and manipulating strings. And I just made a list of some of the methods it has that we are currently using in different implementations in our code. And it might be good to have like a unique implementation for this stuff that's provided by this library. So my question is anyone feels like this would be useful, an useful addition to our project. Because I don't know, in my MMF work, I usually find these cases where I need to do string manipulation, and this would be useful, you know, to abstract some things.
Alright, global
Is
functions.
this, are these things that Lodash doesn't provide?
So I know capitalize it's in Lodash, but most of them are not there. So yeah, Lodash has a small subset of what this library can do. I mean, it's not necessarily this library. There are also others that do string manipulation. But I'm just wondering if there's a need for that, for, you know, adding a library for strings.
There's also a couple cases for that I was working on where I need to like replace all, and I ended up implementing it myself just because it wasn't really, it's not available on Lodash. They were replaced, but they don't have a replace all. And in other cases where there would be helpful string functions. That's sort of where this kind of arose from.
Can you speak up a little bit, Chris? I haven't heard time hearing you.
Yeah, sorry. So basically, yeah, this initially arose because I was doing some string manipulation for handling highlighting of a truncated path, and for example, like replace all was functionality that wasn't really available anywhere. For example, in Lodash, so I ended up just implementing it myself.
I mean, replace all is kind of a tough one for me, only because I'm using the built-in string prototype replace with a very simple regex. I mean, in this example, this primitive example, it would just be you can take foo.replace and then you /o/g and then the string A through, yeah.
That's what I mean.
It's kind of that one is, that was probably the weakest one of the examples here. I certainly think things like, especially when you're looking at the HTML stuff, you're also looking at the number stuff and the Boolean stuff, strip tags, those types of things. We get a real benefit because those functions are inherently complex or contain regexes that are a nightmare to maintain. So I think there's a good benefit here. I also saw that you can actually define this as a Lodash mix-in, so we could potentially mix it into Lodash in one UI on the service level, and then everywhere we're injecting Lodash. And this is a big win for the argument about the injection of Lodash versus the global of Lodash. But everywhere then we're injecting Lodash, we can just have these methods instantly available. And any conflicting, apparently any competing properties defer to Lodash. So a couple methods get washed out just because Lodash already does them. But everything that's new will then be available on Lodash as well.
I mean, if we can have that, then that's
yeah. I mean, I think instead of having, then we don't have to inject two different libraries. We just inject Lodash, and we are aware of this kind of some extended functionality.
And there's quite a bit in there. I mean, there's a few here, but if you take a look at the full list of API methods, there's quite a few. So I don't know. I had a quick spin through the documentation, and it seemed like a good win there. So I don't know.
And just a quick check. How big is this library?
It's around 30 kilos.
Is that minified?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's an NPM module?
I think I saw that it's available through NPM.
Okay.
I think we could probably even come up with 30K of savings here if we applied it everywhere. But certainly if it makes everybody's job a little easier, speeds up some things. I mean, the escaping and unescaping of HTML is just fundamentally a nightmare with strings. So that in and of itself for me seems the rare times that you actually have to do that. Having a library like this in your back pocket is just
Well worth it.
yeah.
And it's a pretty complete function. There's no like kind of weird cases it's gonna still not work for.
Sounds like it's pretty, yeah, I mean, it's managing the strings, right? So it's not worried about the language or the tags are closed properly or
Yeah.
just looking.
So we should probably do add the tech debt to do this.
A good plan, like it.
Sweet. Adrian, I'll have throw your name on there and you can create the tech debt.
All right. Yeah.
Right.
So currently there's a bug that's out there for one tag. When you double click on the script, you end up getting text from the button below it. Now, this is a browser specific issue, but out of that, I was talking to Adrian, and we were both kind of heading down the same path where we kind of really need to have like a button you can click to be able to copy the text automatically. And with that comes the need for some way of doing that. Now, we could have implemented it ourselves, but there's already some libraries out there that do it. And so I raised a couple different examples. There's a bunch of different ones. Some of them depend on Flash in order to allow you to access the clipboard. And the Zero Clipboard is the case that it requires Flash, but that's what Bootstrap is currently using on their example pages. Clipboard.js has no dependencies on Flash, but also has less support across versions of the browsers.
Not just versions, Safari is not supported at all.
Exactly.
Clipboard.js, which is unfortunate because otherwise, ideally, it would be awesome.
Yeah.
But,
so I put it on the board because I'd like to hear, first of all, if you guys felt that made sense from an enhancement standpoint for one tag. I figured that I might be able to make the enhancement while I was fixing this bug, and I was going to pass it by POs. And at the same point, I wanted to see what library we thought might be best suitable to our overall product.
yeah, we went down this path. Sorry. We went down this path a little bit when we were working on the data export stuff because there's a password that comes with the data export that users need to be able to get and copy. And ultimately, I mean, the reintroduction of a Flash dependency is fundamentally not going to happen. There was some kickback when Yeat accidentally introduced a dependency only on IE9, but there was some, I can't remember if it was a security screening or something, but yeah, the Flash dependency caused some problems. So I don't think we want to go down that route at all. So ideally, something like Clipboard.js would be the way to go.
And I think if I went down that path, I would just I'd make it so that functionality is not available to Safari, and then be able to use the library, and then they'd still be able to select the code themselves, just downgrade the functionality for only Safari.
Yeah.
That's strange.
So
It's just Safari.
Yeah.
The other side of all of this, I'm kind of I'm wary of web apps that have access to your system clipboard. And every system's clipboard kind of functions a little bit differently and has different security mechanisms in place. Well, I mean, one of the reasons that this problem is so hard to solve is because it's a security concern. And browsers fundamentally make it difficult, if not impossible, in the case of like Safari, for JavaScript to be able to access system processes. So when we talk about an enterprise level application with security level concerns, I generally stand fairly strongly on the side of don't allow access at all, don't even risk it. You don't need a 0-day exploit or something and have some problem where it brings in. That said, the security concerns are pretty low these days. All of the security on both the clipboard side and the browser side are quite good. But it seems, for me, where I stand on it is kind of, it seems like a security risk that's unnecessary when simple highlighting and copying is just so fundamentally easy anyway. So going back then to the one tag, I think maybe having a thing where, so what we ultimately did in data export was, if you click the little icon, it automatically popped up the window and already pre-selected text for you. So it's the kind of thing where you could have a click or something. I mean, you could even do a text area or something like that just isolates. So you can press Control-A or whatnot to highlight all the string within that context, or have something that kind of auto-selects it for you, and then kind of cues you to say, press Control-C to copy to your clipboard. So then the user has the choice of copying it down. So it's not something that could automatically happen. But
Do we know what in the markup is causing that button to be?
So it's only in Chrome, and I finagled with it. The best thing I could do to resolve the specific problem was, well, there's multiple options, but the quickest and I don't know if it's the cleanest, probably the least clean, was I just added an HR between the button and the actual code tag that they had, and that resolves the problem. Firefox doesn't have a problem as far as everywhere else is not a problem. Alternatively, I could switch it out for text area and then apply the styling accordingly to that.
Yeah.
Which is without, that way you wouldn't be doing a hack. So
Yeah.
I was initially, I've just been playing around with some of the options. So that's actually my next thing on the board, was kind of to discuss that, because right now I had put the HR, it solves the problem, you don't see it, it doesn't really affect anything other than it's a little bit of a hack and I commented it accordingly. But yeah, it's specific to Chrome. I try to take the HTML out and then I try to replicate it in JSPL. I can't. And I was trying. I know. And then I took a look and tried, and then I deleted everything out of the body, and I have the code tag, the button, and I copy the text, and it happens.
is it just, so you're double clicking on the string, the string itself, and you're trying to get that to just highlight just that bit?
Yeah, but it doesn't even highlight the button. You don't see any highlighting of the button.
Well, yeah, because the button, okay, but it's still pulling that in. Is it just a code tag, or is it wrapped in a pre-tag as well?
It is a code tag wrapped in a paragraph tag, but then I took that out and that's
So there's no pre-tag?
there's a there's no pre-tag in there,
Okay.
but technically so you have the code tag, the button, which is what it's copying, and then below you have another set of example code that then uses the pre-tag. That I can remove self-replicating.
So the button and the text itself are, hold on here. So it's the C example is the button?
Yeah, so now it copies and pastes.
Is it the code tag causing it?
Yeah, so it's the button that's actually doing it. The buttons, so you double click that to select the code.
What is that highlight though? That highlights.
It only highlights the code tag.
Okay.
And then you copy it, but you paste and it says like C.
Yeah, it's the example, yeah. And you go into Firefox, you have no problem.
Yeah.
So it's a weird. So as soon as I put it in HR, as soon as I put it in HR, it resolves the problem. But it's a little hack.
Wait,
to be honest.
did it get the button there?
Are you
You won't
pasting
see
it
it if
somewhere?
you got a copy and paste. Yeah, we're only seeing your browsers. We don't actually see anything.
Oh, okay, sorry. So I double clicked,
Yeah, copy.
And Jermaine, copy, right?
Yeah, paste it somewhere.
Oh, sorry, it's there.
You
Got an idiot. I got it. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's all, and it's weird. It's really weird. So I spent a lot of time like when I tried to like building up because it's right now it's using Bootstrap with a Go and it has some column. The span's fine, but so I was like maybe I can separate it to its own row. It still went all the way down and got it when I put it in its own separate div. So I was like, okay, and then I tried a bunch of different things and it still was able to get to the button. So the cleanest or the smallest hack that I could come up with was just put an HR tag. Alternatively, I could switch the text area and format it accordingly and do it that way. But
Yeah, I mean, one thing about the text area that I like is then if you like click and you see a little icon in there, you can actually use Control A to select all the text contained within that. And we get it to look exactly the same. It's not that hard, I don't think.
no.
But I mean, that may be a way to go in the meantime to stop at.
Yep. And there wouldn't be a hack that way. It'd be cool.
But yeah,
Where are you seeing this book? What branch?
Master, PC12, PC11.
I'm not getting it on my I mean, I don't think this is master. I think it's based off on master. But
You guys went muted. Did you guys mean to mute yourself? You guys muted yourself.
How long have you been muted?
It's still muted.
it's still muted. It's on this.
Couple of minutes? Oh no, I don't know, 1 or 2 minutes.
Hang on, it's detected a microphone connected to your computer without a microphone. Oh, this thing's wicked finicky. I bet you have to sign in and out again. I don't know. All right, let me. Can I close this? Yeah, I can close this. If you touch this thing,
Go back and watch the recording. And it's like,
oh, okay, better? Yes, no, maybe so?
I can hear you now.
yeah.
All right.
Sorry about that. How much did you miss?
A lot. I was like waving my hands and like.
Yeah, we saw you. I saw you waving your hands. I was like, oh, you're muted, but we're muted. This computer just bugged out on us.
That's fine.
We were just speculating about the text area thing, or the select thing, and it sounded like Chris said that he would do the text area and style it, and maybe add, if you click on it once, it would just auto highlight for you. So visibly, it would look the same, but it would have slightly better functionality, more friendly, copyable, ready to go kind of thing. Does it? Yeah, that's strange.
That's
Sorry.
all I'm trying to get at, everybody. He's like that. The damn one.
Splendid.
Yeah, clipboard library. Not the library.
Whoop.
Yes, let's not introduce a clip art library.
I think we need, this app needs more clip art.
We should talk more about
We need some
that.
more sad Vikings.
If anybody does run across a clipboard library that is fully cross-browser compliant, it'd be something to take a look at down the line. Because there are multiple instances where this has come up in the past where we want users to copy things. I mean, there's stuff out of history we've been talking about. There's the thing, the password certainly in data export, the one tag gets copied all the time. So if we can find something that is truly cross-browser and no Flash support and is, secure enough to go ahead. But I do feel like the reason that Safari doesn't work is just because it's just locked down. It's just like, no, you can't do that. It's a security concern. All right, not enough to talk about.
I had one quick thing to talk about.
No, it's not on the board.
I know, it just came to me.
You can add it before this closes.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I just wanted to tell everybody, make sure that if you have regular expressions that are user inputs, that you escape your regular expressions using Lodash. There's a couple of bugs that were on expressions where you were typing in the search field, and if you put special characters in, it blew up the regex, and if you don't escape the regex, you have that problem. So we have to make sure
What were the characters that weren't escaped? Do we know?
parentheses, asterisks, period.
Something that has symbolic meaning.
Yeah. So as soon as you put those in, you were, when you went to go create a regular expression, it blew up.
Are in the like an empty pattern type attribute, or is it
No, this is like the users typing into the search field, and if that search field is becoming a part of the regular expression, and when you did that, you have to make sure you escape that.
Yeah.
And so Lodash provides the functionality, but I think there may be some other cases where we're not.
Okay.
So I hadn't even thought of it, and I went and did it. I'm like, oh wow! So then I found that function from Lodash and fixed it.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Should I add something to the board?
Yeah, put it in follow-on work.
Yeah.
Okay, we all good?
It's all good.
This show and tell guy, what's up with this?
That's been, we already did it. Robin did it for us.
Yeah.
Rob walked us through that. It's worth checking regularly to see the progress of things. I mean, Microsoft Edge has the edge in the browser world, or at least did last time I looked at it. Node is pretty good. It's pretty damn close at this point, Node 6. Yeah, look at that, Edge 14. Does it say 90%?
Yeah.
At the top?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just like, and it's funny, nobody wants to touch the tail call optimization. That's like the one bit that like nobody's saying.
That's like the most wanted feature for functional programming.
Exactly. So it's just funny to see IE11 that stack, 15%, and then Edge 14 90%, where it's like Chrome is just, and Chrome and Firefox is just incremental. But yeah, Chrome's at 97% now. Chrome 51.
Is that like what market penetration? Is that what that is?
98, 52, 99. What's the
Percentage of users total?
It's the percentage of the ES6 spec that's supported in the browser.
All right, what's WK? WebKit.
Yeah, interesting.
Sorry.
What was Safari at?
90.
I mean, if it's coming from
99.
WebKit, you would expect, WebKit's at 99, then everybody else should be there too.
What's TV? TV.
The mysteries of product. Yeah, looking at where Babel left off, they basically stopped around 74% because we're almost there. I mean, IE11 is the biggest problem right now. Difficult, right? And with users talking about downgrading from Windows 10 back to Windows 8 or 7, IE11 is going to be around for a while. Can you run Edge in Windows 8, Windows 7?
I don't know. I doubt it.
What's an edge?
Exactly.
So the IE11 is soon to become the IE6, basically, of
Yeah, I mean, with
The new master child of IEs.
I mean, right now, if we were to create an application that's just supporting technically latest browsers, I mean, the amount of ES6 we could write would be
And we support IE11.
everything we want. Well, yeah, IE11 is still considered now as part of the latest.
Modern browsers.
Yeah, but it's not really.
Well, they're trying.
Kind of like a little bit of wishful
Right?
thinking there.
They got the work. They got the.
Yeah, Microsoft's not good version.
Giving us the old FU like they used to.
They've given us Bash and Windows now.
It's like the greatest thing ever. Now it's like,
Have you tried it out?
I have, yeah.
Is it good?
It's pretty slick. It's because it's real fucking Ubuntu. It's like you can do what you go to apt-get, you have everything you want.
Yeah.
That's
Can
amazing.
you install pretty much can you add repositories and stuff?
Oh yeah, you can do what it's literally, it's like a native VM running.
Maybe I won't dual boot my next machine. Install this.
Yeah, seriously, it's incredible. It's like,
Things that we have a little time. I'm just curious. Is anybody trying to write more functional style JS, or not really thinking about it?
yeah, I found, and not just JS either, but like when I go home and work on my PHP projects, a lot of that stuff I do. I just think about pure functions and not depending on state to get any output out. So it's actually, it helps quite a bit.
Well, the reason I was asking is I'm getting sick of currying everything and partially applying everything with the way regular Lodash is, because it's not FP first. I was wondering if you guys had thought about the FP version of Lodash.
It'd be quite an undertaking to introduce.
I don't want to replace. I don't know, maybe that's why I was asking, because I usually end up adding a few lines of code to curry stuff. That should just be auto curried.
They really should have called it Flowdash. Functional Lodash, right?
Yeah.
It's so much better than Lodash FP. It's
Yeah.
just like
You want to inject two different libraries, or that library when you're.
I don't have any thoughts on it. I don't know if I'm the only one who tries to write more functional in the terms of currying and flowing.
yeah, where I stop is with flowing and composing, because it's like that stuff just feels so awkward. It feels awkward to read, and like the API from one function to another just doesn't ever feel consistent.
Okay.
You end up kind of sprinkling a mix of native functions in with your custom functions, in with your Lodash functions, and then you partially apply a Lodash function, and you start to, and then you read your flow, and it doesn't feel like it flows.
Which is kind of why I was asking about Lodash FP, because then you don't have to worry about those extra like partial apply, currying, all these other things added to it. It's naturally done, auto curried, and stuff like that. So, just was curious.
Yeah, I've really liked the promise chaining with good functional style. The idea of just the .then stack with catch and finally makes kind of asynchronous development feel relatively smooth.
Yeah, but that's carrying state through.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. Okay. Just curious.
Kind of have to though with some asynchronous state because you're retrieving something and returning it, and then that needs to somehow go somewhere and flow through something.
Yeah. Okay.
Anybody else? Good. Good. All right. Have a good one.
Cool.
See you.
Cheers.